Hey gorgeous, welcome to Aligned Ascension. Frequency attunement, human design, and business energetics. I'm Christy Avis. This is your Aligned Ascension. I'm literally so excited because this is everything that I've implemented in my life and that I've activated within myself, and I'm bringing you guys this activation today because it's such a celebration, right? It's a celebration of who we're becoming, what we're letting go of. And I did a card pull right before this, and I was like, let me know what needs to come through for me, what needs to come through. And I was using the Work Your Light Oracle deck, and you guys are gonna laugh when you see the card. It is Align Your Life. So this is so funny for so many reasons, because what we're talking about today is actually releasing the old identities of who we've been and who we've been attached to as past versions of ourselves, and stepping into consciously creating our new realities. And this is so funny because the question on this card is, what is not aligned or needs to change? And I literally deleted more than 70% of my email list earlier today. I'm deleting my old group. So I ask you to really ask yourself during this free masterclass, what needs to go? What do you need to drop within your identity? Because we're going to talk a lot about quantum physics and neuropathways and how these things work, and how we've been actually attaching ourselves to the old identity of who we are and what we need to do to release that. Because I will tell you, like, literally everything is energetic. Literally, Angela, I love how spirit works. It's just like such a funny card, because it's like releasing those pieces of ourselves, and it's like this breaking off. And I like to look at the cards as not just what the guidebook says, but literally what the picture speaks to me, because I'm one of those people who sees like images and flashes in their mind as they look at these things. And it was so powerful, because it's really a breaking down, and it's not always easy, and it's not always the most beautiful process, and it can be a lot. So if you are catching the replay, I'd love to know that you are here as well. Interact, engage with this live. This is something that I really want to be activating for you. I don't want this to just be another masterclass that you're going to where you go off into your day and you're doing the same things and being the same person. I want you to walk away from this changed. I want you to walk away from this doing the implementation of the things that I'm telling you, but not because it's something I told you to do, because you feel an activation within your soul of like, yes, this is aligned, this is right for me, this is what I am meant to do. And the fact that you are here today live with me or on the replay means that you are following the energetic cord of what is your next step, what is aligned for you, what the next download code, bit of information that is right for you on your journey in this lifetime, on your soul path. It is incredible. Hi! Oh my gosh, Andrea! My mastermind sister! Look, it's not snowing. It's actually beautiful outside today, so it's so good to see you. Andrea and me always joke because she's in beautiful weather and I'm just in like, oh, it's snowy, oh, it's sunny, oh, it's snowy, oh, it's sunny. It is hilarious. So we are going to get started, and I have some notes because I have an open head and Ajna center. If you guys are in this group and you want to learn human design, you are in for it, because the way I teach human design is literally going to blow your mind. It's definitely more of a, we focus a lot more on the integration as opposed to getting all of this knowledge and all of this information and never embodying it, right? Because that's what Aligned Ascension is about. So there's so much human design stuff coming, and there's going to be some pieces of human design mixed in today, because I love to integrate human design with energetics, because that's the only way we really see things change in our lives and businesses. Hi, Katie. Oh my God, it's so good to see you. I literally love you so much. So good to see you. But I want to give like a brief why this is so important, right? Because literally in the beginning of my business, I was doing all the strategy, I was doing all the shit, I was listening to all the coaches, I was doing everything right. I was literally doing all the things and nothing was moving forward. And things happened. I eventually fell into the world of energy, and then literally my whole business changed, my life changed. And we are 3D beings, right? We're here in this physical reality, and it's like we get so focused on the physical. We get so focused on what is going on in our 3D reality that we get in this place of response instead of realizing that we're actually mostly energy. Even if you look at what's physical and what's not physical, literally everything is like little atoms bouncing around and vibrating. And it's crazy because we forget the power that we have. So because you're here, you have that energetic cord pulling you on. And I'm so excited. So what is the first thing we're talking about? Ooh. Okay, so this is part of what I've been talking about as I kind of talked about this masterclass. And what was going on here is that a lot of us are actually living as past versions of ourselves. And this is why we see so many people living the same day in and out. We see the same jobs. We see the same bosses. Even if the situations seem to change, it feels like there's just this energetic cord tied to us of, I keep living the same experience. I keep having the same relationship experiences. I keep getting in jobs I dislike. And it's because we're literally living as past versions of ourselves. And this is so crazy because what happens is most of the time we're not in the present moment. We're in the past or in the future within our mind. And our literal physical body does not know the difference, and neither does the chemicals that our brains produce. And this is so wild, right? Because I can think about a time when my boss mistreated me at an old job, and I am immediately back there. It doesn't matter that I'm here in my beautiful apartment. It doesn't matter what is around me. I have triggered the same chemical reaction there. And this is so powerful, right? Because if we spend all of our time thinking about past events, thinking about past launches that have failed, thinking about things that didn't work, we're literally chemically addicted to those things. And now when I say chemically addicted, a lot of people are like, I'm not addicted to the things that happen to me. I want them to change. I want to have successful launches. I want to have amazing relationships. What are you talking about, chemically addicted? Then why do you keep going back to those things? Why do we keep going back to those things? It's because our brains are trying to keep us safe. And that's what this is about. Our brains are not bad. And the thing is what we want to do is we want to learn to integrate our brain and our body on the same page. And I'm going to talk about the magnetic monopole, but literally we become addicted to these emotions. We become addicted to feeling like a victim and thinking our bosses are out to get us because it feels safe, because there's nothing we can do there. We become addicted to the mediocre because we're afraid to celebrate. We're afraid to take a chance because we're scared of the pain that might ensue after we feel the emotion. We're afraid we want to feel anger with our family to feel justified and safe within ourselves. So what we do is we play these stories over and over again in our heads. And 95% of what we do is on a subconscious level. So with that 5%, we're consciously creating. Hi, Katerina. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. We're literally living in the past. And so we become addicted and we take ourselves with us, right? And so no matter what, it doesn't matter what outside circumstance changed, until you change the internal addiction to these old emotions, you will keep repeating the pattern. It will keep playing over and over and over again. And that's why people keep getting in these patterns. It's because we wait, we wait for the outside reality to change. We're literally waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for my 10K month. I'm waiting to quit my job. I'm waiting for the perfect relationship. But we bring ourselves with us wherever we go. And until this changes, the outside might change a touch, but it's not enough to get us to that next level, to get us to those 10K launches, to get us to that business that we absolutely love, that lights our souls on fire, because the chemical reaction, the chemical addiction is still there to the old version of ourselves. Is this making sense? Like, this stuff is so powerful. And it's life-changing, right? Because when we can acknowledge something, we can move past it. Now, if there's that butting up against, oh, I don't have an addiction to things that have happened in the past. I don't have that. How often do you think about the things going wrong? How often do you think about that time somebody mistreated you? Because I'm one of those people. I'm very sensitive. I am very sensitive and intuitive, and when somebody hurts me, I think about it for a long time, and that is my brain trying to trigger safety within me. It's trying to tell me that this is how I see the world, and we're all looking at the world through a lens, right? This lens that we see, nobody sees reality in the same way, and so it's crazy because, like, I could have one feeling about going hiking, and you could have gotten hurt going hiking. You could have been attacked by a bear or whatever, and you would have a completely different lens that you're looking at life through. And these lenses impact the energetic vibration that we're putting out. And that's so powerful, right? Because if we all understand that we have a lens, there is no true reality. So reality can be whatever we want it to be. That sounds so trippy, but it's really up to us to become hyper aware of how we're relating to our reality, right? And my best example of this is I used to be in burnout, and I used to work really hard, and this is crazy, right? Because I got sick, and I had a bunch of things like come up for me, like I had a gut infection and I had all of these things, and I really related to it in a way where I felt the illness, and I kept reaffirming the illness. I would wake up and I would have a reaction and I'd reaffirm it within my reality. I would go to the doctor and I'd be like, things are not working. I am sick. 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 And something started shifting actually really recently, because I decided that instead of focusing on that old reality, I wanted to consciously create a new reality. And when we are so focused on what we are experiencing, we have no energy for that conscious creation of a new reality, because we're looking through this lens. There is no room for this when you're so focused on this, because you are constantly re-triggering those chemicals within your brain to say, I am sick, I am sick, I am sick, I am sick. And I can't even tell you, my meeting with my last doctor, I was like, I didn't have a reaction to this food, and this is so cool, and it's good, and I'm healing, and I'm taking the medicine. And trust me, a year ago, I would have been like, okay, what does this supplement do? I need to know. I'm not getting enough sleep. That means this, and attaching meanings to things and looking at it through the lens of I am sick. As I look at things through the lens of I am healthy, I create a reality where I am healthy. So what are you guys trying to create? What is that next step for you? Is it 10K months? Is it quitting your job? Is it a new relationship? What is that thing that you are working on creating where you feel like you've been stuck in that past reality and you're working on transitioning into consciously creating your new reality? I'd love to know. So I want to talk about manifestation really quickly, because this is so important. If you are able to relate to this consistently, you will stay in this. If you are able to relate to this consistently, you will move here. You will move into the conscious creation of your reality. And I'm sure you've heard people on the internet talking about staying in the predictable, the possible, and the potential realms. And this is something that is actually proven by science. So this is something called the observer's effect. And so basically what happens is there's electrons and atoms and all the things, the pieces of atoms moving around constantly and consistently. They're all moving around. And it's so crazy, because what happens is it's completely random. Completely random. You have no idea where this electron is going to be. Literally, science cannot predict it until it is observed. So this is so powerful, right? Because the second something is observed, you're able to pinpoint the location of it. So the observer effect is the basis of manifestation. Once something is observed, it is real in that place and time. Until it is observed, there are infinite possibilities, literally infinite possibilities. It could be anywhere. And so this is crazy, because this brings to attention the fact that our observing of an item makes it in that place. It makes it observable. It calls it into the reality of being predictable. So that's what it is. As soon as you start observing a past reality, you get back into that predictable place of that thing being exactly where it is. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is the habits to get you out of that predictable realm. Because until you observe it, there are infinite possibilities. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get into the infinite possibilities of it. So that is manifestation explained as quantum physics. That's how quantum physics works. And it's called the observer effect. Look it up. There's so much information on the observer's effect. But if you're able to withdraw your consciousness from what you are actually seeing in your reality and put your consciousness more on what you want to create, that's when you start to create possibilities. And even better, be in the present moment. That's even crazier, because then there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There is nothing that you have consciously tied your observing to, and that's when the possibilities are infinite. And it's so crazy. So I can say, I want 10K cash months, but my launch failed. And then what am I focusing on? I'm focusing on a failed launch. I am pulling that in. Or I can say, I want 10K months from this launch I'm about to do. I also limit myself. And it's still good to picture the reality we want to take, but I want 10K months. And then this launch could help me do it. Having that openness allows us to pull from what's potential instead of what is kind of what's probable in our reality, because that probability, that's what happens when we're really picking out and observing things. So I'm going to talk about quieting your mind, and it's so good. Another important piece of this is, I know I talked about how we're constantly like responding to the things around us, right? So my boss pisses me off, I am responding. One of my clients does something I don't like, I am responding. And instead, it does take conscious practice, right? We're pulling this consciousness from one place to another. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, how do I want this to be? How do I actually want this to be? Because this is so important, right? We think that we played first. Ignore that. We think the universe played first. We always think that things are being thrown at us and it's meant for us to respond. And so what happens is we get in this perpetual cycle of the same thing happening over and over again. We feel like we're living the same day. We feel like we're getting the same type of clients. We feel like we're struggling to get the sales we want because we've reactivated that in our reality as something we think we're responding to, but we're actually causing, we're actually creating, we're actually perpetuating. This is so important. And it's literally like a game of chess, right? So you think you're responding, you played first. The universe is responding to you constantly and consistently, no matter what, all of the time. So that's why it's so important to change the internal world, because what we do is we go into this response mode, right? We go into this response mode of, oh, I didn't get as many likes as I wanted, so I'm going to put out another post and I'm going to try to boost my algorithm. Oh, I didn't like what that person did, so I'm going to set stronger boundaries, instead of focusing on the possibility of, oh my gosh, I impacted 3 people. What does this mean? How many people are watching me that I can't even tell I'm impacting? Or what was my other example? Something about a launch. I can't even remember. We always think our manifestations have to come from a certain place or person. Yep, and that limits us. It totally limits us. And I've had launches where I've had a failed launch, and I literally look back and I see where I energetically blocked myself from being in the energy of receiving those people, but I still hit the income goal because I had decided that my manifestation had to be siphoned through a specific hole of a specific launch. I completely annexed all of the possibilities of I could randomly win the amount of money that I need or want or desire, and I literally got picked in a drawing and got that amount of money. And I didn't have to work for it, because that's what I really wanted. I really wanted the money to come easily. And so what did I do? I decided that the launch was the only way to do it. The launch was not successful. I released my attachment to the launch being the only way the money could come, and then I won the money. Hi, Lindsay. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Angela, right? Yes, absolutely. We hold these attachments. It is so, so crazy. So when it comes to what's predictable and what's potential, a lot of us will focus on, I don't want this, or I really, really specifically want this. And what we have all within us, every single one of us, whether we have an undefined or defined G center. If you're familiar with human design, if you're not, stay in this group for a couple of weeks, you're gonna know. But we all have a magnetic monopole within us, underneath our G center, our heart center, the center of who we are. And this magnetic monopole is the piece that pulls together the conscious and the unconscious parts of our chart and makes a quantum chart. This is the blueprint of who we are. No matter if you are defined or undefined, you have a magnetic monopole within you. And this is the center, this is the force that is pulling things towards you based on your vibration. The cool thing about the magnetic monopole, maybe not so cool for some of you who have been in a bad place, it only attracts. There is no repelling. It does not repel anything. It only pulls things towards you. Picture it as a magnet within your soul. It is the essence of who you are and your soul journey here. It cannot repel things that are not meant for you. It only attracts what is meant for you. So as you put your attention on what is not meant for you and what you do not like and that reality that you do not want, you are pulling those things in because it is all vibration, right? It is all energy. It is all attention. It is all attraction. There is no exclusion. This is not an exclusion-based universe. This is not an exclusion-based monopole. It is a magnet. It cannot repel. So think about where you've been and what you've been thinking and what you've been focusing on. Have you been focusing on consciously creating that new reality, or have you been focused on maybe what you don't like? Maybe what you don't want, maybe the patterns that you've seen, what have you made those things mean? Because there was a time I made something mean, this is such a good story, right? Because I am in the service industry. I work as a VA, I work as a social media manager, I am a graphic designer, I am a coach, I am a human design coach, I am the Manniest Jen of all the Manny Jens of all the Manny Jens. I do all of the things, but I had one failed launch. And this failed launch, I made it mean so much shit about me. Because I decided I was going to teach people Photoshop. Did I want to teach people Photoshop? Absolutely not. But in hindsight, I knew that. During, I was like, hell yeah, I'm all for this. And you know what I made that launch mean for me? I made it mean that unless I am providing a service, people will not pay me high ticket prices. And I did the work that I'm going to teach you in the masterclass to change that belief. But until I worked to change that belief, I truly believed that people would not pay me high ticket prices unless I was providing a service of like sending their emails and uploading their YouTube videos and all of those things. I made it mean something about me. So where are you making something mean something about you? Based on past launches, based on the algorithm, based on whatever, you make yourself a victim to those things instead of making yourself a conscious creator. And the work that I'm going to show you is how you transform into that conscious creator, because we want to be focusing on the infinite possibilities. The infinite possibility is like, I can make money doing whatever the fuck I want, whatever I want. I don't have to limit it to a Photoshop training, and just because this launch was not aligned, it means nothing. I know that my soul path, my soul journey, my desires are there for a reason. They're there because they're meant to be had. Because I deeply believe that, and I've deeply integrated that belief into who I am, it is. It is. And if you believe that your desires are maybe meant to be had, or you might have them, it is. It is. Whatever you believe, you are attracting with your magnetic monopole, and it does not turn off. So, what are those beliefs that are shaping your reality? Amy, that's exactly what I've been learning about the magnetic monopole. It's fascinating. It's so fascinating. And it doesn't turn off. It doesn't matter if you're a reflector, a generator, a manifesting generator, projector, manifestor. It does not matter. You have that in you. Whether it's defined or undefined, it is pulling things towards you. Just because you don't have that defined G center, you still have a soul path. You are still here for a reason. You just don't feel that sense of self as much as some people do. But your magnetic monopole is pulling you towards your reality. Oh my gosh! It is literally so good to see you. Welcome, welcome. So a big piece with an incredible example I have with the magnetic monopole is money, right? Because so many people, we operate in this place of lack with money. So we're literally perpetuating these stories of there's not enough, I want more, there's not enough, I want more, there's not enough, I want more. And literally what can happen is we can switch our mindset. We can switch the way we believe, and we do the switch before the money shows up. I promise you, every time you have to do the internal work before it shows up. So where are you avoiding the internal work? Focusing on your 3D reality and hoping that that is going to change. Hoping that the 3D reality will change so you can feel happy, so you can feel wealthy, so you can feel abundant, so you can feel fulfilled in your life. You have to feel wealthy before you are able to attain wealth, or you will lose it. So it's focusing on, okay, there's a piece of lack here. I'm perpetuating the story of lack, but I want 10K months. How can I feel the abundance now? What can I put in place to feel the abundance now? And stop acting as a past version of myself, because your brain is scared. Your brain is scared of what 10K months mean. Does it mean my family's gonna ask me for money? Does it mean that suddenly I've alienated myself from my friends who are making less than me? What is my partner going to think? What if I lose it all? What if I make 10K and I lose it all? These thoughts, they're acting within a lens of past versions of yourself to keep yourself safe. And so it's changing that. It's really deeply integrating the change. And I'm not talking about the bullshit change of like, oh, I believe money flows to me, I am a money magnet. Until you clear the subconscious, the conscious will still be there. Until you clear the subconscious will still be there. So you have to change these beliefs under the surface as well. That is so, so important, because if you're just playing with the conscious and going, I'm a money magnet, money loves me, and underneath you feel lack, the universe knows what you are feeling. You cannot trick your magnetic monopole into believing that you are a money magnet when you are terrified you are going to lose it all. It's all energy. It's all energy. And that's so, so important. And there's one thing I want to say before I get into these things that are really going to change the way you show up. They're really going to change the way you interact with your reality. How are you approaching these things energetically, right? Because when we believe that something is not working for us, it will not work. And so you're going to hear the things I say in these habits, and you're going to be like, oh, I can do that, or oh, I've done that, it hasn't worked for me. No, because resistance makes stronger. I'm sure you've heard that before in your life. Resistance makes stronger. So the more you resist something, the stronger that resistance becomes, and you are not able to get through it. So if you have struggled in this place of like, I don't know if this is working for me, you are literally reaffirming that resistance within your vibrational field, right? And so many people will be like, oh, it doesn't work for me, it hasn't worked. Well, that reaffirms that resistance. When you're able to accept that this can work for you and you're able to change the way you see things, that's when things change. So there is this element of acceptance. We are able to own and hold the duality of loving where we are and wanting to be somewhere else. We can hold that, but you cannot hold, I hate where I'm at and I want to be somewhere else. You have to hold both. You have to hold both with the energy of acceptance, because as you resist this, you focus on this, and that activates that possible, right? So it's activating this while wanting to be over here. The only way to do it is to say, I accept where I am at. I love where I'm at. I love my apartment, but also I want a cabin in Florida, and I want a cabin in Canada, and I want to go, I want all these things, but I have a love for where I'm at now. And that's so, so powerful, right? So how can you accept both? Because you get to hold the duality of both of these things. You get to hold the duality of loving where you're at and also wanting to be further along. But you cannot hold the duality and expect to attract a reality that you love while you hate where you're at and want to be somewhere else. Oh my gosh, Ashley, thank you. I so need a podcast someday. I'm a defined throat center, so it makes so much sense. I don't know. I told I told the universe that we're bringing the power today. And it's like, okay, girl, we're bringing the power. I'm so excited. But I'm going to talk about neuropathways now because we're going to get into the habits of what you guys can actually do to stop focusing on this, get on this, but accept this, right? So this is so important because basically what happens is every time you are aware, because awareness is a huge part of this. This isn't something where you're just going to be like, oh, I meditated one time and now my life is perfect and I've manifested the 10K months. You can manifest a 10K month from meditating once, but where is that continuous power? Where is that continuous momentum? Because what we're here for is that continuous momentum. And how the brain works is every time you have that awareness, and awareness is a practice. It's not one of those things where you are aware once and suddenly your brain is completely changed. It is something that you practice. And I'm not going to stand here and tell you that this is so easy. It's really easy to focus on the same reality and live the same day over and over and live the same boss over and over. That's why so many people feel stuck. They feel lack. They feel like they just can't get out because they focus on that current reality over and over and over again. I'm not going to tell you that this is easy, but where do you want to hang out? Do you want to hang out in the hard of feeling like shit all the time and wondering why nothing's changed? Or do you want to hang out in the hard of awareness? Because that's the kind of hard it is. It isn't really hard to change your mind. It's just you got to be consistent. You have to practice. And this is so important because that awareness is where you start to create change. Because even just the awareness of something takes away its power and puts the power back in your hands. So you pull the awareness and you say, oh, I've been thinking about lack a lot, and it snaps the rubber band of that neural connection because there are neural pathways in your brain that are wired for lack if you have experienced or felt lack before. There are neural connections basically telling you that you are not safe to feel excited about something because it could go bad. And these neural pathways are practiced, and they have practiced so much that it's like a magnet, and suddenly they connect. And so what you are doing is every time you have the awareness that you are in lack, you snap the rubber band. What happens when you snap a rubber band hundreds of times? It eventually breaks. So it doesn't only take the awareness of saying, oh, I've been in lack. You snap the rubber band. I've been in lack. I've been in lack. But you are also consciously creating a new neural pathway at the same time. And so if you picture your negative neural pathways, the things that are not necessarily negative, but things that no longer serve you. Lack served you at one point. The things that you have served you at one point. Me being scared of my bosses served me at one point. Me believing that I was sick, that served me at one point. So there's this acceptance. Remember, we can't get from here we can't get to here from hating here. We have to accept that these things are just things that no longer serve us anymore. They aren't terrible. So as you see your negative neural pathways as rubber bands, you're able to snap the rubber band every time you have that awareness. And at the same time, seeing that the new neural pathway that you're trying to form that says I am abundant is like a magnet. And every single time you snap the rubber band over here and add a little bit of power to the magnet over here, you are changing your reality. And now this is the thing, right? Because resistance is extremely normal. And this is where people give up. People give up in the resistance because it isn't easy. And what happens when you're close to forming this new neural pathway, you've snapped your rubber band over here a few times, your brain is going, oh shit, we're in danger. And oh shit, we're in danger means that it's going to put a little bit of a wall between these magnets and it's going to weaken them. It is up to you to continue going because I promise you, you will reach resistance. When I am in my meditations, I swear, when I am about to have a breakthrough, that is when my brain is like, you need to do this. You forgot to do this. Where's your birth certificate? What's your social security number? Did you forget to pay your taxes? What happened to that friend from 4 years ago? That's when my brain puts up the most resistance. That's when I am having the most things come through, and that is right when I'm about to break through. So you have to change your relationship with resistance and see it as proof that it is working instead of proof that it is not working, because either way you prove yourself right. Either way you prove yourself correct in that if I believe that it is working, then that little wall is going to break, that new neural pathway is connected, the magnets have done their connection thing, and I have formed a new belief that I am abundant. But if I give up right here, my rubber band is stronger again. I'm going to have to keep trying. And this is something that you keep working at. Even when you have formed that new pathway and that magnet is connected, it doesn't mean it's connected for forever. This is going to take practice. But are you willing to be the person who does the practice every single day to say that I am abundant until that abundance inevitably is pulled into your reality because your magnetic monopole does not turn off. It is attracting what you believe. So are you willing to get that connection going, have the awareness to break this connection over here, and then to practice this one? Because I promise you, if you feel abundant, the universe has no choice but to give you the reality that you want. And that's the thing, the universe wants to give us our desires. We just have a bunch of shit up and a bunch of blocks that make our beliefs all weird and wonky. The universe can't deliver you a ton of abundance when you are in lack. The universe cannot give you that 10K month if you believe it's not possible. So true. The brain fights so hard to stay in the familiar and it resists the unfamiliar. And we are not at odds with our brain. We're training our brain. Our brain has kept us safe. And so many times I see in this work that people dislike their brains. They're like, why do I even have a brain? Would I be able to even speak to you guys if I had a brain or I didn't have a brain? No, I'd be like, blah, blah, blah. It wouldn't work, right? Our brains do serve us. So it's how do we work with our brain to get it on the same page as our soul path, as our desires, and train ourselves that we are safe to want abundance. We are safe to form that new neural connection, as long as we stop living as a past version of ourselves. Angela, seriously, boundaries, realign and break the pathways. Yes, 100%. Literally 100%. So make your resistance mean it's working. Make the resistance mean it's working, because you have to integrate into your being that I am the person who consciously creates my reality. Because what a lot of people will do is they'll say, oh, resistance, never mind, I'm going back. We are not the people who go back. We are the people who go forward. We are the people who go through the resistance, and we literally change our realities based on that. And you have to integrate that into your being. It is a level of self-power that is possible for you, but you have to change the way you see things first. You can do all the meditation, you can do all the journaling, you can do all the work, but if you believe that the resistance means it's not working, it will not work. You have to change the internal before the external shows. When you change the internal, this work becomes easy. It is hard in the fact that you have to stay committed to it, but it is not hard work. It is not hard work. Let's talk about meditation. Is anybody feeling the energy? Declare it now. Declare that you are the bitch who does your work. Because I am the bitch who does my work. And I have declared that over and over again. And I am the bitch who decides that my work is working. I decided that this is working for me. I don't go do my meditation and my work without deciding that it's working for me. Tony, I love you. Yes. Yes. You guys are the bitches who do your work. Absolutely. I am the badass Bruja who does my work. Angela, I love that. I am the goddess who always does my work, and it always works. Lindsay, I love you. Katie, thank you. Andrea, I am that bitch. I am that bitch too. I show up and I do my work, and it's not going to be perfect every time. And releasing that attachment to it being perfect every time is important, but you show up and you do the work. So let's talk about meditation, because meditation, everybody tells you got to meditate, and what do? You go to work right away. Everybody tells you need to meditate, and what do? I'm tired, I need to go to sleep. You have to do the work. And why meditation is so important, this is important for you to understand, right? Because if I tell you go meditate, that's going to change your life, bye, you're going to be like, okay, whatever. I want to tell you the science behind it, because meditation has the potential and the capacity and the ability to take you off of this reality. It has the capacity to get you out of that addiction state, that brain-body addiction to the chemicals that have kept you stuck. And this is why it's so important, right? Because we are training our brain. It is not easy when you first start meditating. I swear your brain will do the same thing mine does, where it's talking about its social security card and it's talking about its friend from 5 years old and is this person mad at me and did I water my plant? All of the things. Did I feed my cat? I don't know. Those things will come up, but do you have the awareness to say, back to my breath, back to the conscious moment, back to where I'm at? Because as you take your attention off of this, you move yourself into the realm of possibility and potentiality. While you are stuck here, while you are thinking here and you keep going back, you are literally focusing on what is probable, and what is probable produces more of what is probable, and you stay in that loop. And even removing your attention from what's in the future. There are visualization and exercises that I'm going to talk about, but you have to get off of this. And meditation is the most powerful way for you to disassociate from who you have been, because who you have been has produced the same results over and over and over again. So instead of being who you've been, decide who you're going to be. And you do this with meditation. You disconnect from that reality and you decide who you are going to be. And this is so important because it's the observer's effect. It is literally the observer's effect. And as you are observing these electrons over here, they become predictable. They become in a space where you can see where they are. But as soon as you get out of it and you stop observing the past reality, you stop recreating it. You stop recreating it and the infinite possibilities open up. That is what meditation is about. It's about opening yourself up to infinite possibilities. Yes, what is probable creates more of what's probable. That needs to go up on my Facebook page as a quote. Because that's powerful. It's literally so, so powerful. So are you going to be the person who meditates every single day? And are you going to be the person who has the awareness when things are not, when your brain is over in here playing in this reality? Do you have the awareness to bring yourself back? And do you have the awareness to say, this is working for me? This is working for me. And do you have the awareness to accept not only where you're at, but where you are going? Because where you at, you may be struggling with meditation, but where you are at is you are consciously and gently bringing yourself back to the present moment. Instead of saying, I suck at this, I'm terrible, I want to be better. You have to accept the duality of it. You have to accept that I am okay here and I also want to be here and love both. Yep, Amy, I do. Yep, I meditate several times a day as well. And sometimes my squirrel brain gets me. And you know what I do? This is good. We come back to the present moment. This is good. We come back to the present moment. And I disassociate from who I have been so I can consciously create who I want to be. So can you be that person? Can you be that person that when the resistance comes, you make it mean that it is working? You make it mean that you are so close to forming that connection. And then once you form that connection, you do it again and again and again, because we are for the positive momentum. You do not want your brain to take you back into old habits. This is a commitment. It is not easy. It is easy to do the work and have the awareness, but it is hard in the aspect of you must be consistent. You must be aware. So you become the person who does it no matter what. Let's talk about journaling. This is the other habit that has been so, so powerful in taking me to where I want to be by embracing the duality of these two items. So there is an important thing to say when it comes to journaling, and this is that we do not do bullshit masking, toxic positivity, covering up of things. We are real and genuine. There are a couple of different journaling techniques that I use, but this is literally about clearing this, not only your subconscious and getting yourself to where you are aware of what is going on, but this in tandem with meditation is how you become a really, really strong conscious creator of your new reality that you are trying to get. So we don't want to do any of that. I'm a money magnet. I'm good, I'm attracting abundance, while we feel lack underneath. We want to address those things. We want to pull them out, but we don't want to focus on them. That's why these two things in tandem is what is going to move you forward. It is so, so powerful. So one of my favorite journaling techniques, and this is so, so powerful, is called fear rebuttals. Fear rebuttals is the process of looking at what you are afraid of. Because as long as you are afraid to look at this, you are not embracing both of these things. You cannot move forward because there is too much resistance. The fake positivity is what creates that resistance. So fear rebuttals is the process of looking within and saying, what is my soul feeling right now? What am I actually afraid of? Am I scared that if I hit a 10K month, I'm going to lose it all? Am I afraid that if I show up online as my authentic self, people are going to hate me? Am I afraid that if I skip a day of posting on social media, that I am going to fade out of importance and nobody will ever love me? Am I afraid that if I take this step and go for the business of my desires, that my family is not going to love me anymore? What are those fears? Write them down. And the way you write them is very important, because you do not want to say, I am afraid, because you own that. You own that as who you are. You say, I have a fear. I have a fear that this is not going to work. I have a fear that I'm going to hit my goal and my friends are all going to leave me because they're going to think I'm a rich bitch and not want anything to do with me. I have a fear that if I leave my job, I'm going to have to go find another job. I have a fear that my fiance is going to start judging me if I make a lot more money than him. What are those actual fears underneath the surface? Write those down, and write them down in a way where you are not saying, I am afraid. You say, I have a fear, because that gives you power over that fear. And what you do is, after you write all of those out, you clear your soul, you go back and you write down why that is not true. And no matter what your fear is, there is a duality with it. No matter what, there is an opposite. No matter what, there is a different way to see things. So am I afraid that I will lose that 10K month? It's possible, but I have seen the people around me. I have seen, even if I don't have proof in my own life, first look for proof in your own life that what you are afraid of is not real. And until then, look at other people. There is proof all around you that you get to make more and more and more money, and life gets to get better and better and better and better. So how can you disprove that fear? How can you disprove the fear of, I can't have a 100K launch? There are people you may not have had your 100K launch yet, but there are people all over the internet having $1 million launches. That is proof for you. And while you are writing these fear rebuttals, it is ineffective unless you feel it within your body. This is the piece of embodiment, right? We are bringing the mind and the body together. That is the purpose of the magnetic monopole, so this is an activation of that. When you are doing your fear rebuttals, you feel it in your body. When I do my fear rebuttals and I say, I am afraid of the algorithm. I'm afraid people aren't seeing my stuff. You know what I do? I say, the 3 people who liked it, I guarantee there's 20 other people who are just lurking, who are inspired by my thing. Somebody shared my post. That means it's working. That means it's working. I see people who are making millions getting 3 likes on their post. That means it's working. And I have this belief. And I am working on this belief if it has not been integrated. Sometimes you will have to do the same fear for months and months and months. But every single time you are doing it, every single time you feel the truth of what you have written instead of the truth of the fear, you are rewiring your brain. You are rewiring your neural pathways. Yes, it's so funny because Katie, I literally, right before this, slight tangent, I was deleting all of the old people off my email list, the people who were not coming along with me. I had 111 people after I deleted everybody. I was like, so aligned, so aligned. But are you willing to look at those fears and rebuttal them? Because I promise you, there is proof. There is so much proof, whether it is in your life or somebody else's life, you find proof that it's working, because if you want this to work for you, you have to believe it's going to work for you. And if you are too busy giving into these fears unconsciously, but also saying, I'm a money magnet, I'm terrified I'm going to lose it all, I'm a money magnet, that is not going to remove that within your field. Your magnetic monopole, it's listening to the piece of you that says, I'm afraid I'm going to lose it all. It doesn't matter if you say I'm a money magnet if you don't feel it. You cannot trick the universe. And I don't want you to be afraid of the universe. I want you to feel empowered because you have the capacity to change within you the way you feel and the way you relate to things based on your neural pathways. You are the creator if you stop playing over here, if you move over here. Alignment signs everywhere. Yes, redefining what's working means it's not 1,000 likes or thousands of followers. Literally. There are so many people with groups of 300 people making $100,000 years. There are so many people with like 500 people making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 years. It's never the numbers, it's always the alignment. And this is what's getting you into alignment with the future version of who you want to be. So after your fear rebuttals, this is really, really important. So I talked about that duality of not only accepting where you are and loving where you are, but loving where you are going. There is a really important piece of this is that you need to celebrate both. This is another embodiment piece, right? Because if you're not feeling it within yourself, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if you're playing only up here in the conscious field in your head centers, you have to bring it down into your body because your body holds energy. It holds this energy. So it's really, really important that whatever you are doing, you are feeling it, and celebrating both of these is really important. So the way we celebrate not only where I'm at, but where I want to be is by celebration journaling. So after you do your fear rebuttals, what you want to do is you want to go through and celebrate yourself. You want to celebrate all of the things that are going right, because if you keep playing over here of what's not going right, it's not going to start going right. You have to play in what's going right. Quantum jumping. I've done quantum leaping, and sometimes it's a little rough. Let me know what you mean, because I want to make sure we're like on the same thing. But if you keep playing over here, this is that way to get you out of it. It's that way to embrace exactly where you're at and exactly where you want to be. So celebrate yourself and feel it. Celebrate that somebody liked your post. Celebrate that somebody reaching out means that people are interested. How can you celebrate yourself and activate that within you? Because the magnetic monopole definitely wants to feel both. You have to embrace where you're at and where you're going. You have to. So celebrate where you're at, what you're doing, the proof that it's working. Because not only with the fear rebuttals are you looking at the proof that fear is not true, you are celebrating yourself and you are feeling in your body that feeling of celebration. Celebration, when you look at the emotional scale, celebration, it's getting really close to love. It's getting really close to gratitude. You know what that does? That expands your aura. You know what expanding your aura does? People feel you. It doesn't matter what you say or what you do at that point. People feel you when you expand your aura. So it's tapping into that gratitude, and we're embracing here, but we also want to embrace here. So what do? We future journal. We future celebration journal. And this is so important. The way you word this means a lot, because you will not say, I will celebrate a 50K month. I will celebrate quitting my job. No, you're going to say, I am celebrating hitting a 50K month. I am celebrating quitting my job. And I go hard on that shit. I'm like, I am celebrating hitting a 15K month, and this shit feels so good. This is what I went and bought. Me and my fiance did this the way I told my friends, and they celebrated with me. That is the important part, tapping into that feeling. So go with it. Go with how it's actually going to feel. Get those feelings as real within your body. Your brain and body don't know the difference. I may be in my apartment, but when I am imagining my 15K month, I'm not in my apartment. I am celebrating that 15K month, and it is real. It is done. It has already happened within my brain chemically and my body physically when I am tapping into the feeling, and my magnetic monopole doesn't know the difference either. It is calling it in. Okay, you guys are talking about some interesting shit in the comments. Hold up. Okay, quantum jumping is the theory in physics that states you can transfer yourself from, oh, hell yes, in a way that helps bring, that's literally what this is. just didn't know the term up for it. Yep, we're playing in the reality where Christy has had her 15K month. We're playing in the reality where you have quit your job, and we have literally moved into that reality. And you can do this in meditations too. I've done so many meditations where I've actually pictured myself in a different reality. And I believe that every single time every time we form that new neural pathway and we snap the rubber band of what we don't want, we shift a reality. We're shifting on our highest timeline. And I think I call it being in alignment with your highest timeline. I think that that's very, very similar to the theory of quantum jumping. Yes, you guys are so cool. Lock in your reality. Yes, 100%. So tap into those desires. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Lindsay, I love you. So tap into that. Tap into that celebration. Tap into where you are going. And the last piece of this is trust. There is nothing more important than you trusting that this process is working. No matter what, you have to release the idea that this does not work for you. You have to approach this of this is the thing. Everything I do in my life, I approach it as this is the thing. And so many things have been the thing, and the things that are not the things are the things because they are teaching me lessons. No matter what, it is working. So do it, and decide that it is working. No matter what, do it. I'd love for you guys to declare that you are going to do it in the comments. That would mean the entire world to me. Be the person who does it. Be the person who removes yourself from who you've been and start consciously creating who you are going to be. Who you already are. Because this, if you desire it, it exists. But you have to stop playing here. You have to stop playing there. Don't just go through the motions. Don't just say, oh, this was a really cool masterclass. I'm going to put on my to-do list that I am going to do my fear rebuttals, and I am going to meditate, and I am going to do the things, and then I'm going to go to bed, and then I'm going to do it. Feel it in your body. Feel it in your body as you are the person who does this, and this will change your life. And it's going to change your life. I can't even tell you. Your magnetic monopole is always on. It is always working, and it is always attracting. So look at it very honestly. What have I been attracting? What have I been attracting? And what do I want to create? Who do I want to be? Do I want to keep living as a past version of myself, or do I want to step into consciously creating? Because if I have been living over here, I have been living as if the universe moved first and I'm responding. But that is not the case. You moved first. So start moving first. Your reality will change. I promise you, your reality will change. Do we have any questions? This has been so, so powerful. And I am so, so grateful for everybody who is here, everybody who is catching the replay. This is an activation. This is not meant to be something where you watch it and then you go about. We're back. Okay. Alarms going off. I want you to be changed. I want this to change you. I want this to shift you. I want you to understand that you are consciously creating your reality. Yes, I love you, Tony. And I wanted to let you guys know that I have opened up one more space in my private coaching. And this is the only space that is at this current rate. And then my prices are going up. And I'm so, so excited because you guys, after watching this masterclass, you know everything that I am about. It is a combination of human design. It is a combination of aligned business. It is a combination of deep integration of mindset work. We can do the strategies. We can do them all day long. We can do them all day long. But the only way to change a reality is to change who you are. And with this, I do a human design reading, so we can really deeply go into your human design. What this is 4 months, $700 per month to work one-on-one with me. My prices will be going up for my next space. It will be opening in a month. And this is a way to calibrate to a coach who believes in you, but also you start believing in the energy of what your reality is. Because I promise you, when you change the internal, the external can shift very quickly. It can shift so fast. So I will leave a link to book a discovery call in the comments. Once this space is gone, my rates do go up, but there will be other opportunities to work with me. And you guys know, I'm all about the energy because I have been there. I have been in burnout. I have been in a place of waiting for strategy to work, and I have been a victim to my reality. And I have chosen to consciously create it. And when you have somebody on your side supporting you through that conscious creation who works with you within your human design, your blueprint, things shift so fast. I love you all. I will leave a link to book a discovery call in the comments. Let me know if this is for you. Thank you so much for being here today. Let this shift you. Let this work become a piece of who you are. Declare that I am the bitch who does their work. Because I promise you, if you do the work, the universe shows up for you. It has no choice. It's all energetic. You become an energetic match for money, money comes. You become an energetic match for a thriving business, the thriving business comes. I can't tell you how fast it'll come. I am not queen of the universe, but I promise you it comes. And if you have a desire, it's possible for you. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys later. Thank you for coming into this group. It would mean the world to me if you guys would introduce yourself, tell me what you're excited to learn in this group. This group is a space, it's an activation. I'm excited that you're here, and I want to know more about you guys. So introduce yourself, use this space, because we're gonna ascend in an aligned way, aligned ascension. Bye guys.